Alright guys, Jameson and Alex here. Today we're going to be talking about the Wraithblade Rogue from Auroboros.
Yes.
Created by Warchief Gaming, created by Chris Metzen, who is the creator of World of Warcraft, Diablo, Starcraft, and Overwatch. All of their lore and worlds and stuff. So
Look at him.
he left Blizzard,
Way back
made
when.
his own company on here. This is the first product they came out with. We approve.
Yeah.
We're just going through all the subclasses on here. This is the third of 4. If you're new to the channel or the subclass series, what we're going to do is go through all the abilities gained in the subclass. And we're going to rate it based on its roleplay value, combat value, and overall class synergy, based on how the abilities gained in the subclass improve on the base class abilities. Also have our giveaway for D&D Beyond Players Bundle, so make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to be entered in that. And, of course, thank you to our sponsors, Hit Point Press.
Wonderful people.
And we want to talk today about their Big Bads series. They have lore and special abilities and just things you can build either campaigns or story arcs around. Really unique and creative monsters. So make sure you guys check that out. They have bundles now, too, as well as you can get some of the previous ones I've done before bundled together. So if you're looking for some interesting monsters and stuff for your campaigns, make sure you check them out. I have a link down below. If you have a minute, make sure you check it out. Support us. Really appreciate it. All that being said, Alex, Wraithblade Rogue, what do we get?
This is by far the most straightforward and easy to follow of the 4 subclasses on here. And first of all, it's Rogue, it's Martial class. They're not giving you any spells and stuff. So again,
Right.
we fit into about maybe 2/3, half a page or so. So here we go. Starting off with Wraith Strike at level 3 as a bonus action. You can surround yourself in mist. That's going to sound familiar here in a minute. Teleporting up to 15 feet into an unoccupied space within 5 feet of a creature, making an attack with a wielded light weapon.
There you go.
Wall Walk. You choose archetype at level 3. Your climbing speed becomes equal to your walking speed, including any bonuses to your walking speed.
There you go.
So for some reason you can move real fast. Now you can run up walls and do all kinds of crazy parkour stuff. Also at level 3.
Oh, boy.
Because we rogues, we like to get stuff quick. Supernatural Gaze. You gain the ability to charm an intelligent creature. I mean, not very intelligent. Sorry. Their supernatural means once per long rest. As an action, you can target a creature with an intelligence of 3 or more, hence my crack earlier, that you can see with your eyes and force it to make a wisdom saving throw. On a failure, the creature is charmed by you as long as you maintain eye contact with it. There's where some gray area comes in.
There,
Yep. When the effect ends, the creature does not know it was charmed by you. A lot of charm charm effects and things, it knows it was charmed by you after you've charmed it. But that specifies that it does not know.
Yeah, it's very important. And the thing to keep in mind, too, is it's any creature. It doesn't have to be humanoid. And there's some creatures like cats, foxes.
Intelligence of 3,
I
baby.
think wolves have intelligence of 3. So
Bears.
You can hit or miss. Because there's some that have 2, and there's a very fine line on that 2 and 3. I don't know who. I wonder who was the guy at Wizards who was like, what is the intelligence rating of a horse?
I was like, well,
or a frog.
I've got a rat and a newt.
Right. Like,
which one of you is smarter?
I want to meet that guy. Anyways,
that poor guy.
Then as things get really crazy cupcakes. Sorry, that's a reference there. Sorry.
The rails. Forget going off the rails. Jameson has turned the rails up on their head.
Okay, level 9.
Goodness.
Got me getting there. Shape Change Mist Form. You can use the vampiric art of shape changing to turn into a cold, damp mist. No action required. For the duration of your turn. While moving, you may take the form of mist, allowing you to move about undetected and fit through any gap. While in this form, you have a flying speed of 20 feet, can hover, and can move through a hostile creature's space. If air can pass through the space, your mist form can do so without squeezing. However, it cannot pass through water. Moving away from a creature in combat grants the same benefits as a disengage action. While in this form, you are immune to all non-magical damage and have advantage on strength, dex, and con saving throws. As soon as you stop moving or your turn ends, you are unable to maintain mist form and return to your corporeal state. So it is very crazy.
Yes.
But it only lasts until the end of your turn or you stop moving.
Yes.
So it's going to be in bursts.
Yeah.
So you can't just be like permanently in mist form. And also you can't just... So that way you can't just go into like a crack and end your turn because you're going to... It probably won't feel great to return to your corporeal form
rematerialize inside of it.
Like
Oh.
That would not be good. Not be
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
So you have to be really careful with that one.
Nope. Next up at 13, we have Vampiric Blade. You may take an action to inscribe a bladed weapon with the runes of the Draconis Malazath. For whatever reason, I could not read that word. I was like, no, that's not what that says. Okay. Draconic Malazath. Imbuing it with 3 charges. When you successfully hit an enemy with the weapon, you can expend a charge to regain 1d10 plus your Constitution modifier and hit points. You may only inscribe 1 weapon per long rest. So, essentially, a fighter's second wind, but you're getting it on an attack trigger for some lifesteal.
And one interesting thing, too, I want to mention on here is it says you may only inscribe a weapon once per long rest. It doesn't say anything about how many weapons you could have.
Also true.
So you could have 3 charges on, like, both weapons, but you'd have to do it over 2 days and not be spending charges.
Right, yeah.
So you could kind of stockpile up a couple. So you have that option if you really wanted to. So
yeah.
Still limited to 3 per weapon per day.
Yep.
Then lastly, we have Touch of Maliceth. Starting at 17th level, when you make a sneak attack, you deal an additional 1d8 plus your dexterity bonus to 1 creature. You immediately receive healing equal to the bonus damage done with Touch of the Maliceth. If this kills the target of the attack, you use the Ritual of Draconis Maliceth to absorb its life force, gaining 2d10 plus the target's Constitution bonus in temporary hit points.
Yep.
You also gain a proficiency of your choosing that the enemy possessed permanently.
Yep.
The next time you kill an enemy in this manner, you can choose to replace that proficiency with a new one. So you can't just stockpile up a bunch of proficiencies.
Yeah, that'd be busted.
You only get 1, but you can change it out if you want.
Right. So
whenever you kill
early
something.
on, if you kill something that's proficient with perception checks and you're not normally, you can grab that. Later on, you could totally grab a saving throw that you don't normally have.
It's just a proficiency.
Yeah.
So definitely very powerful, but it is level 17th ability, so it is a capstone on there.
So I say early on because you're not going to get that ability early on. Like I said, lower CR creature, you're fighting it, you could pull something.
Yes.
Yep.
So, all that being said, those are the abilities gained in the subclass. And I'll move on to the rating portion. First up is the roleplay value asterisk, as always.
Yeah.
When talking about roleplay value, we're talking about interacting with the world around you, interacting with NPCs, non-combat scenarios, avoiding combat, basically things outside of the initiative order.
That's right.
Not talking about your class fantasy, history, lore, background. That's on you as a player. We can't rate you, but we can rate the abilities gained in the subclass and how they might improve your potential in those role play scenarios. So, all that being said, looking at the abilities on here, getting full movement access to your climbing speed can definitely come into play. Considering you're a rogue, you're probably going to have really high stealth rolls, which is going to help you get around even better, undetected. The charm effect is very interesting. The only thing that's a little weird on there is that
the whole eye contact
eye contact is on there. So depending on how that is with DM discretion, you maintain eye contact with the creature and maybe someone else is trying to persuade them or something, and you're like, yeah, you should listen to them. You know, you can kind of work and make it work, but you have to be a little bit creative with that one to use it effectively, I think. But like we were mentioning, there's a lot of stuff with intelligence of 3 or higher, so there's a ton of potential uses with that.
That's right.
And then, of course, Mist Form is just absolutely insane for RP. Mm-hmm. Being a rogue, as I mentioned already, your stealth rolls are going to be insane. Now imagine if you could fly 20 feet every round and then, you know, be invisible and sneak through cracks. You could infiltrate pretty much anything.
Yeah, you can get literally in and out of anything.
Undetected, probably.
And you got your climbing speed. So, I mean, because you can literally run up a wall and then, you know, teleport into something, miss through this, and...
Yeah, you got a lot of crazy stuff that you can get into with that.
Bonkers.
And then, of course, the capstone to gain or change a proficiency is really interesting and can help you kind of pull something important that you might need circumstantially. So, really interesting abilities on here. We went with a 4 out of 5 on the RP for this one.
Combat side of things definitely stays interesting as well. It definitely scales up as you go very hard. The Ray Strike giving you a teleport does let you kind of disengage as a bonus action, but letting you make an attack as part of that bonus action, so you can disengage away with the teleport or towards something if you can't quite get to your bonus action teleport poke kind of thing. So it kind of basically gives you a buffed disengage as part of bonus action with an extra attack with it. So not bad. Again, wall walk letting you climb stuff. So if you needed to get up to a higher level because you're fighting like in a 2-story house, there's no, issues for you. Climb up a tree. If you needed something was up in a tree, like firing down at you or something, it's like, nope, run right up that tree and get them anyway. Supernatural Gaze is primarily RP. You try to use that in combat.
Good luck. Good luck.
So Mist Form. Yeah, it still works in combat really well because it allows you to get in and out of trouble nearly flawlessly because you are immune to all non-magical damage while in your Mist Form. So if somebody were to try to, he's moving away from the opportunity attack, man.
And it is free disengage as well.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
It's really, the immunity or whatever is really not going to be relevant because...
Most of the time.
Yeah, because it's going to be not happening at the same time, right? Like on your turn, you're moving away, so...
Yeah.
It's basically just a free disengage all the time.
Pretty much. Unless there's something that is triggered by that, like some kind of a trap. We're trying to get something that might cause you damage that would happen in the
triggering traps and stuff, potentially. But you are missed. I mean, can mist like a gust of wind trigger a trap? Probably not, depending on the kind of trap, I guess.
We're getting real particular.
You're not going to be like pushing down a pressure plate or anything, you're missed.
You're nearly impossible to hit, and you can go all over the place you want to with the first, handful of abilities you get there. Then we get to the actual, like, mechanical hurdy pain causers. The last 2 abilities we get. You're giving yourself health back, which is never bad, and I honestly did not think about the fact that what Jameson said before he said it. I was like, I guess you could just, over the course of several days, like, if all you have is regular daggers and they're not magical, you start
if you're level 13, you still have basic daggers, though. I mean, come on. What are you doing?
Well, if you had a handful that you wanted to throw,
right?
So for your ranged attack, because you couldn't get to something, so you chuck a basic one just so you could trigger it,
Yeah, get a little bit of health back.
Just something.
It gives you more survivability.
Yes. Sure. Yeah, built into it. Yes, because rogues do have uncanny dodge and evasion, but outside of that, if they're taking magical damage, things like that, getting your health back is never bad. And finally, of course, the Touch of Malazath, your sneak attack dealing extra damage. Wonderful. It's what you do as a rogue, so yeah. And then getting yourself a bunch of temp HP if you happen to kill stuff. It makes you be very greedy about you're loving to see a lot of little stuff. It's like you become like the mob guy. Yeah. Essentially, it's like, okay, if you're fighting like this big, overlord, dude, and he's got like a bunch of little goblin. You're just like, I'm gonna kill all of them.
Yes,
all of those little guys, because you're getting that extra temp HP, which can add up. It doesn't sound like a bunch, but again, it's kind of like healing because it's temp HP.
It is overwrite, so if you are killing all those little things off, it's gonna mitigate
some of it. Yeah,
some of it,
but still. And then the permanent proficiency bonus of choice, one per time, at a time, obviously. But, if you're able to grab a saving throw or, something else like that could definitely help with your survivability getting around spells and other effects and things. Fantastic. So with the early movement and then the, much later survivability and extra damage, able to be 4 out of a possible 5 for combat as well.
Yeah, I think the main thing with this one is it does lean a lot more into the defensive. You're not really getting any bonuses to your damage output. You're getting just more utility for survivability.
Yeah.
Primarily, you're just getting a free disengage, which as a rogue, it does add up because you otherwise would use bonus action to disengage because you're rogue.
Yeah.
So you're getting basically a free attack. You can always bonus action attack, which is good, and it will add up over time.
Yep.
But you are using light finesse weapons as a rogue anyway, so it's not going to be super crazy. It does allow you to get more chances to trigger sneak attack, though. So there is that.
Yes.
And then you get your mist form, with that as well. So some utility getting up on walls and stuff like that. And then, survivability, getting some healing here and there is nice. Because that's one thing, as you get higher level, a lot of times rogues end up kind of becoming more ranged.
Yeah.
Because they're squishy.
Yes.
They can be pretty squishy. They do have uncanny dodge, but that's once a round.
Yes.
So you can only do that so many times, especially if there's more than one thing in combat attacking you. Or they have multi-attack.
Yeah. You're praying there's a a barbarian paladin fighter in there or a moon druid that can absorb some of that damage for you.
Yeah. So as crazy as it does sound, it is a lot more of a defensive version of
Survival rogue.
Yes, for sure.
For sure.
It's the Dex tank.
Yes.
And then lastly, we have the overall class synergy, kind of touching on a lot of the stuff we already talked about. The Wraith Strike is going to let you close gaps and get a little bit closer, push a little bit more movement speed. If you reach your full movement, then instead of using dash as your bonus action, you can Wraith Strike if they're less than your max movement speed on there. Then you also have climbing speed, helps you in combat, out of combat, and you can combo with your flying speed with mist form, so you can mist form up or climb onto something and then mist form off of it, between turns and whatever. So you get some interesting utility parkour on there. And then mist form, just being able to get in and out of combat is crazy good for a rogue, gives you more survivability, lets you stay as a melee rogue throughout the leveling process instead of defaulting back into like more of a ranged, mid-rangey kind of creature. And then, of course, the extra health goes as well with that, keeping you in combat in the fray. So we went with a 4 on the synergy as well.
Yep. Perfectly balanced.
4s across the board on there. So let us know down below, guys, your thoughts on this one. This was a really interesting one for us because it was just lots of movement and utility stuff.
Normally things that wouldn't excite you for what you think a rogue is doing, but it creates a very interesting rogue play style.
Yeah.
But it intrigues me.
Yes. So, that's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification so our new videos are coming out. Thank you again to Hit Point Press. Make sure you check out their big bad stuff. They have really cool, awesome creatures and monsters that you can run in your stories, campaigns, arcs, all that fun stuff. Always great stuff coming from them. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.